Okay. Yeah. So in the spring core, okay, what are the things we have to discuss here simply? So you can simply understand here that in the spring core, we guys have to discuss about loose coupling versus tight coupling. Okay, there we guys have to discuss about some inversion of control mechanism. Okay, then we have to discuss about what is exactly spring framework, what are the different components of the spring framework. Okay, with that one, inversion of control can be achieved with the help of the two things. One is called as the dependency injection, and another one is the auto wiring. Okay, same thing we can achieve through the XML configuration or the Java configuration or by using the annotations. So that even we guys have to discuss about this. Okay, even then after we can try with the some we can create some properties file, okay, which store the data into the text format in the key value pair or the name value pair, so that we can discuss. Okay, then after we can observe about Java configurations. Okay, that it is the next way to go for that. So this is what exactly we have to learn into the spring core. We have to discuss in the spring core. So what here actually we whenever we talk about the spring framework, whenever we talk about the spring framework, this spring framework, this spring framework is a framework of frameworks, I can say. It is the framework of a frameworks because it supports the many other frameworks. Like you can simply Hibernate framework, you can work with the Spring. It supports for that. Okay, even it supports for the even testing frameworks. Okay, so many frameworks it will be get internally supported. So this spring framework I divide into the multiple things, like we have the spring we have the spring core. Okay, then with that one we have the spring, I can simply say test is there. Okay, for the testing. Then we can just go for the spring. Okay, then spring MVC. Whenever we have to develop the web-based application. So by using this one, we can go for the standalone application. Standalone. Okay, we can simply say the application can be developed with the help of the spring core. Okay, but if you go with the spring, if you go with the spring MVC, web applications, web application can be developed by using the spring MVC. So whenever you got some requirement, okay, so depends on the project type, you can select the technology. Like if you have to create the standalone project or you have to create the web project. So if web project is there, you can just go with the spring MVC. No doubt, Spring MVC support the Spring Test, Spring MVC support the Spring Core. So whatever the thing we are going to discuss in the Spring Core, that all are supported by the Spring MVC. Okay, and here actually this it is for simply we can say testing. Okay, testing your application. So in our case, we are going to use the JUnit. Okay, testing framework, it supports for that, so this spring core, okay, this spring core is from the spring framework where we have to discuss these things. Okay, with this one even we have the, if we have to develop the web services and the microservice are component, so in that cases we have to use the rest. Okay, spring rest. So it is, we can say here, whenever web services and microservices actually, okay, or even the web service microservice, or I can say web services we can develop with the help of the spring rest representational state transfer. Okay, with that, okay, even the microservices even we can develop. Now with that one we have some spring security part. Spring security, that means that without authentication and authorization, authentication authentication and authorization. Without authentication and authorization, there is nothing to your application. So compulsory by using the Spring security, we can provide the authentication and authorization. Authentication is nothing but what the process to perform the login, username and the password you can provide, and through that one, okay, you will get the access of your application. And authorization is the process. It is the role-based process to perform the authorization. That means even though you are authenticated but you are not authorized, then we cannot access that particular URL. Okay, so if you guys have observed some applications like okay, to access, like if you guys log in as a user, so only the links which are available to the user, okay, that will be get access to that user. But there are some links actually even admin can do. So admin's links cannot be get access by the normal user. Okay, so this like admin have some extra privileges. Through that one, they are accessing or they are doing some things. Like in some applications, like okay, if you in banking applications, even user can withdraw amount. Okay, they can just transfer amount like that one. Okay, but if they have to do some modifications, okay, then they have to go to the bank. Okay, then they will their admin will do that one. So that modification can be done from the admin side, which is not available to the customer login. So like that one, that according to the role base, that will be get done in the authorization process. Okay, and here it will be the role base and authentication, where we have to provide the username and the password. So that things actually completely will be get provided by the Spring security. That will be provided by the Spring security, we can say. Okay, so again, these are the topic we need to learn. Okay, we have to discuss on that one. With that, you can just simply go here. We have the Spring Boot. Okay, we will go with the Spring Boot. Okay, whenever we have to implement the microservice architecture, microservice, okay, architecture. Okay, architecture. So if we have to develop, then the Spring Boot actually help us. So basically, it will help us for auto configurations, auto configurations. Okay, auto management, dependency management. In short, what I can say here, in short, I can simply say developers should concentrate on the developing rather than doing some extra things which are not necessary or which are little difficult and which will waste the developer's time. So that the Spring Boot will do the auto configuration, Spring Boot will do the auto dependency management. Okay, Spring Boot will take care about your project structure. Okay, so that you as a programmer, you as a developer, you don't need to worry about that one. It will be taken care by Spring Boot, so developer can concentrate on the developing the business logic, writing the business logic. So that things actually we are going to discuss inside the Spring Boot. Okay, so Spring Core is there, Spring Test is there, Spring MVC is there, Spring REST is there, Spring Security is there, and the Spring Boot. Okay, that part. So all these are the things actually which we guys have to discuss in upcoming days. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. Now here I just want to discuss few things, okay, about the loose coupling and the tight coupling. Loose coupling and the tight coupling, I can simply say. Here, hope everyone with me.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
sir.
loose coupling and a tight coupling. Okay, so if you guys remember, okay, we have discussed, okay, about relationship, entity relationship, or the class relationship. Actually, in the class relationship we observe the two important concepts. One is the aggregation and another one is the composition. One is the aggregation and another one is the composition. So that means that there can be a more than one classes. They are the dependent on each other, dependent on each other. So in that cases we observe that, okay, if there is no is a kind of relationship, it is the has a kind of relationship. And in a has a kind of relationship, object of a one class we have to write as a member in another class. Okay, so the in that there will be a loose couple little or the tight coupling. So if you observe about the tight coupling, if you observe about the tight coupling means what, there will be a tight dependency between two classes. For example, assume like I do have the class, okay, as an employee. I do have the class as an employee, and in this employee class we have the things like private private, okay, employee integer, employee id, employee, we can simply say id. Then we have the private, okay, string, okay, employee name. Okay, then here we do have the private, okay, I just simply say the double, okay, and there we can have the salary. So like these are the field. Okay, with that one we can have the so many like designations, okay, and so on. So this is what the employee class. Now I do have the another one class, okay, public. Here I can simply say I do have the another one class as a public void. Okay, public void, we can have the address. So for every employee have the address. So here class, okay, I do have the address, class address. And in that class address, okay, in that class address I can have the private string, okay, address line 1, okay, and there will be another one private address, I just say line 2, private, okay, and it must be the string only, it must be the string only. So like this one we do have the, okay, now no doubt with this one we can have the getter methods, okay, and setter methods. Okay, if we need the constructor even, that can have exactly same on these classes. Okay, here there can be a, okay, we can have, there can be a getter methods, okay, and we can have the setter methods like that. So see, if you observe these two classes, if you observe these classes, you can see they, in these two classes there is one relationship, there is the relationship. And if you observe that, that relationship is the has a kind of relationship. So employee has the address, employee has a address. So if such a kind of relationship is there, if such a kind of relationship is there, then how we are going to implement that. So programmatically even we guys have observed that if two classes have the has a kind of relationship, so basically object of one class we can make as a member in another one class. Okay, so in this case what I can do simply, in this I will write private, okay, just try to understand here, private, private, okay, then there will be the address, okay, and here there will be the small address. Okay, so private address and address, private address and address, like this one I just have given over here, private address. Now in this case, okay, I just have made the object of a address inside here. Okay, here not exactly created the object, I just created the variable, I just created the variable. Now in this case, what is exactly the tight coupling means what, I will write one public, okay, employee constructor I'm writing. And in this one if I just want to assign the address, here I will write the address is equals to, address is equals to, new, and their address I just writing here. So through this one, what is happening here? So as soon as I created the object of employee, as soon as I created the object of employee, immediately it will go to the constructor and it will create the object of the address. It will create the object of the address. So that means that here between these two classes, there is the tight coupling. There is the tight bonding between that. There is the tight coupling between this one. So here actually, if here, okay, if we have to remove this one, because tight coupling is not a good thing. Whenever we have to use this address, okay, employee class, I need to compulsory, okay, address. And here the concept we call it as employee is depends on the address. Employee class is depends on the address. So in another word, I can say address is dependency. Address is the dependency. Address is the dependency here to the employee class. And here compulsory, I have to create object of address class. Here I have to create the object of a employee class. Yes, hope you guys are getting what I'm trying to say here. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Now this dependency we can just reduce up to, yes. Same dependency I can just try to reduce up to this one. Like you can just observe here, loose coupling, okay, in the same relationship, exactly two classes we need, okay. But while specifying this one in a little loosely coupled thing, it a little loosely coupled thing, what I am going to do here, see, this is your class, okay. Now rather to create a object of this one class over here, I'm not going to create object of this one. Here what I will do here, simply address and a small address I'm going to write. Okay, that means what here, while creating the employee object, I don't need to internally create. Okay, but here we can pass, we can separately address object and the employee object, and I can inject that address here, okay, to the employee class. How? I just write here employee, this dot I say is equals to address. This, that means what, again this employee is depends on the address. Employee is depends on the address only. Employee is depends on address is the dependency. Now here if I have to call this one, in this case, see, if I have to invoke that, I will create object of address, okay, address is equals to new, okay, address. I will set some values to this one, okay, and after setting the value, I will create a object of employee, okay, employee is equals to new, okay, employee, and while specifying this one here, I just write the address. I just write the address. So this is how exactly address is equal to new address, employee is equal to new employee. So I created the address, the employee object separately. No doubt here I can set the value, the setter to the address by using a setter. After that one, I can set the value to the employees, okay, like this. Okay, this is in case of a loosely coupled, but when you are going for the, we are going for the tight coupling. In a tightly coupled application here, in the tightly coupled application or in the relation, you can simply see we have to create the address. Okay, sorry, we have to create the employee only. Employee, okay, employee, okay, and here I just have put it the employee. Now here, while creating here, while using inside the main, if I created the employee object, if I created the employee object, okay, what it does, it will go to the constructor and internally it create the address object. Okay, and then it is setting the value. Okay, it is, sorry, it is creating the address object, and as it comes back, then here I can use, okay, I can use, okay, setter, I can use here to set the values here. So in both the cases, in the tight coupling, you can see it is very tightly coupled, but here no doubt it is little loosely coupled. Okay, address we can create separate employee and then we can inject the values. But again, problem with this approach is that even though we have reduced tight coupling or we have gone through from the tight coupling to the loosely coupling, but still my logic is depends on, my logic is object creation logic is depends on the developer. Both the developer, okay, here, sorry, both for the both classes, for both classes, developer have to create the object. For both the classes, developer have to create the object, and that created object they have to inject that. Okay, they have to inject over here. Okay, so that means what? Still my code is, my code is, okay, depends on my code, my in, still in my code, I just say in my code, okay, object creation logic, object creation logic, object creation logic is tightly coupled. Okay, that means, that means even for the dependent object, even for a dependent object, for a dependent object, developer have to, developer have to create object, developer have to create object, okay, and inject or pass to another object, another object we can say. So again here it is completely depends on the developer. Okay, so what exactly I want, what exactly I want that, see my, why I'm explaining this one. I as a developer, I as a programmer, I want that object of a address should not be created by the employee. What I want that address of, sorry, object of address should not be created by me as a developer, or even some extent object of the employee even I don't want to create. Okay? Here what I'm going to do, I want that object of employee and address should not be, should not be created by developer. Want that object of employee class and the address should not be created by the developer. Okay, someone should be there, someone should be there, okay, who will create object, create object of these classes and make available developer to developer. Okay, it will be a very great, actually it will be a very great for the developer if someone is creating the object of address, someone is creating object of the employee, and that object we as a developer we are using that one, that object we are using that one. But sir, how it is possible? Yes, how it is possible? Is it possible that, okay, we as a programmer, we are not creating the object. Someone is there that is creating the object and making available to the user. Okay, a developer, you making available to the, we can simply say the developer. Yes. So here actually answer is it possible? Is it possible to do this? So what I'm saying, is it possible, possible to do it? Yes. So answer is Definitely we can do that. Answer is yes. We can do. We can do this. So who is going to do this? Who is going to do this? Who will create a who will create a objects of a classes? Who will create a object of a classes? Okay, so answer is we do have the Spring container. Spring container. Spring container will create a object. Spring container will create a object for us. Okay, okay. Spring container will create a object for us and make available, okay, to the runtime so that we can just use it. We as a programmer, we don't need to create object these classes. Okay, so this is exactly okay. I can simply say about this one. So even though the problem is there, okay, but here actually we have the one component of the Spring framework itself, okay, that is going to manage, okay, object of that class. Okay, so here you can simply try to understand. Here we can simply try to understand that, okay, I want object should be created by someone. Okay, but then here it must be understand that how that container comes to know that I have to create object of these classes only. So is it the all classes object should be will be created by the container? I want that only few classes should be there which object should be managed. Okay, in your employee and the address classes, if even address is created and supplied to us, it is okay. I will create object of employee. That might be case. Or even I want that object of both employee as well as the address should be created by someone. I will use that objects only. So even that is possible. Even that is possible. So if this Spring container can be do that one, that means what Spring framework can do this. Spring framework can do this actually. Okay, so here I just going to introduce one concept. I'm just going to introduce one concept. We call it as the inversion of control. We call it as inversion of control. So whatever we just have discussed here, whatever we have discussed over here, so that discussion is nothing but the inversion of control. I say that is nothing but the inversion of control. It is also called as a IOC, which is the very important feature of a Spring framework. The Spring core only. That is the part of the Spring core only. So of a control mechanism. Inversion of a control mechanism. So what exactly mean of this one? So inversion of control or IOC means run time will be capable to create an object. Run time will be capable to create an object and provide it back to the code. Okay, so what I'm saying here, run time will be capable to create an object. Run time will be capable to create an object and object of a class, and make available available to the runtime, to the, I just say runtime, with it available to the, or sorry, to the available to the code. Okay, so inside the code I can use that object which has been managed by that one. So runtime will be capable to create object of a class and make available to the code. So that means that here the Spring container, one of the component here, that is responsible to create here. So here okay, Spring container, okay, here container will create object term. Okay, container, because this is the general term I'm saying. Runtime will be capable to create object of a class and make available to the code. Make available to the code, and that is nothing but the inversion of a control. That simply means that someone rather than the developer is going to create the object, okay, internally, and that object references we can use that object inside our code. So that is nothing but the inversion of control. So is it only the Spring framework support this one? So no doubt. Who is going to support this concept? Who supporting IOC? Who is going to support the IOC? So very simply I can say, we have the Spring framework. We have the Spring framework that supports the IOC mechanism. That supports the IOC mechanism. We have the another one, GUIS. Okay, that also support the IOC mechanism. Or even we can have the PICO. Okay, that is also going to support the inversion of control mechanism. Okay, so these are the few frameworks. That means what? Okay, we have the Spring framework. Spring framework Spring framework supports the IOC. Then we have the, okay, we can say PICO. That is what is the one framework actually. You can just learn more about that one. PICO framework support the IOC. Okay, then we can have the use. Okay, that is what the one framework actually. Okay, it can support the inversion of control mechanism. Inversion of control mechanism. So this is the basic actually. From this one, we are going to use the Spring framework. Okay, so in our course, we will use Spring framework to implement IOC, to implement a IOC mechanism. To implement a IOC mechanism, I can say this. Hope everyone with me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, super. Here, okay, this if I have to achieve the IOC mechanism. Okay, if I have to achieve the IOC mechanism, okay, I have to use, we can simply say, okay, I have to use the Spring framework, one of the module, that is what the Spring core. Okay, so here inside the Spring framework, in a Spring framework, we have different modules. We have different modules. From that, Spring core, Spring core supports of control mechanism. Okay, version of control mechanism. Okay, so now if I have to implement this, one actually, okay, so how we are going to achieve the inversion of control? Okay, so I just simply say here, the question is very simply how to achieve IOC. How to achieve IOC? Who is there going to support inversion of control mechanism? Who is there going to support the inversion of control mechanism in the Spring framework? I'm going to say, yeah. Okay, I'm not going to the other frameworks, but here, as we are using the Spring framework, okay, so we are going to use that one only. So how to achieve the inversion of control mechanism? So here I can simply say, in a Spring framework, okay, in a Spring framework, okay, we can use, okay, one dependency injection, okay, and the second one is what? Okay, we can say auto wiring. So these are the two things actually through which in we can achieve the IOC mechanism. Actually. Yes, hope you guys are getting.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. dependency injection and auto wiring. So in a general, if you observe the name itself, dependency injection, dependency injection, that means what, the objects which are the dependent. Okay, these are some dependent objects can be there, like the address. Okay, so that will be injected, that will be injected, that will be injected here, that will be injected here. Okay, automatically. Okay, even by using the auto wiring. Okay, and here like the injection. Okay, so if you guys are not feeling well, so we go to the doctor and doctor will inject the medicine in our body. Okay, wherever it required. So simply it inject that one into the body and we will feel the well. Okay, so exactly same here. Okay, into the programming world, if you have the two classes and one class is depend on other class, so that other class data, other class object can be injected, can be injected efficiently or easily inside that other object. Okay, by using dependency injection, or same can be done with the help of the auto wiring mechanism. Okay, now one more thing, like here, even though we are using the dependency injection or the auto wiring, programmatically, programmatically, okay, it can be done, that configurations can be done by the different ways. Okay, or even like here, how, here next question I can write how container, how container, container, or I can simply say how container or the spring understand, understand for which classes, for which classes object should be managed by, object should be managed by, managed by container. How, how, okay, spring will understand, or how the container will understand that, okay, these are some classes which object I have to manage, I have to create an object of this. Okay, so here the answer is what, there are the three ways. Either we can use the XML configuration file, XML configuration file, XML configuration file. Okay, or we can just go for the, okay, or we can just go for the Java configuration file. Go for the Java configuration file. Okay, and then we can just, we have the third one. Okay, we can call it as the annotations. We can go for the annotations. So see here that I want, okay, address object should be managed by the container. Object address, oh sorry, object of the address should be created by the container or by the spring. Okay, so how it will becomes to know that? So programmatically actually we can configure, we can, we can configure class, we can configure class, we can configure class, okay, with the name of object, name of object. We can see what I'm saying here. We can configure class, we can configure class with the name of object, with the name of a object as a bin, as a bin in XML file with the data. See what I'm saying? We can configure a class, we can configure a class with a name of object as a bin. Okay, no, name of object, okay, as a bin in XML file, okay, with the data. So by reading this XML configuration file, by reading this configuration, okay, spring container will understand that, okay, this is the class create, and if I created object, then this will be the name, this will be the reference of that particular. Okay, or here we can configure the same class. Okay, we can configure in the same class here into the Java configuration file. Okay, we can just configure into the Java configuration file. Okay, as a bin only. Here we can configure class with the name, okay, as a bin. Okay, bin using, okay, here we have the @ bin annotation. Okay, bean at the rate bean annotation, bean annotation. Okay, or the method even we can use, or the method even we can use, and through that one it will make the, okay, we can just go for the Java file. Here we have the Java file. Okay, we have the, we can say Java with the data, and it will be get done. And here in this case, actually in the annotation case, we can use at the rate component annotation. We are going to discuss that one. It is the general overview I'm giving about the inversion of control. Okay, I can use at the rate component, or I can use at the rate service. Okay, or I can use at the rate, okay, at the rate repository. Okay, okay, or I can use at the rate, okay, at the rate, I just simply say the bean is already I have used here. Okay, I at the rate controller. Okay, and even other. So the, if you guys observe this, if you guys observe these annotations like this one, then object of all these will be get managed by the container. Object of this will be get managed by the container. So container is responsible to do this one. Container is going to manage this one. So from these three, okay, from these three, either we can use the XML configuration, or we can use configuration, or we can use the annotation. Choice is yours. In your projector, either you can go with the Java configuration, or XML configuration, or the annotation. And these have some advantages and disadvantages. Even we can check, but we can use that either XML or the Java or the annotation. If you go to the XML, you guys know that if XML is there, if even though if you change XML, you don't need to restart your application, no need to compile, nothing. So we will put that one. Okay, but in case of a Java configuration, if you have to change your code, okay, if you change that Java file, okay, then you have to recompile, then it will be get executed and so on. That is what the problem. Okay, but again, if you go for the XML configuration, that every time it have to parse, okay, to read, and then it will be get processed. Here no parsing is necessary in case of a Java configuration. So each have the advantages, disadvantages, but again maintaining the both XML configuration file and the Java configuration file is little difficult. So we go for the annotations. So by applying the annotation to that particular class only, it is easily understand that, okay, these are the classes which object I have to manage. Okay, these are the classes which object should be managed by the container. So it will be get understand easily in case of annotation. So that is what the difference. So choice is yours. We can use here in our course. We can just observe first one XML configuration. Then we'll go for the, okay, annotations. Then even the Java configurations I will demonstrate you so that you will understand the things. Hope you guys are getting.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And here don't worry about, okay, that, okay, this XML config, how to write XML, how to write Java, how to write. It is very simple one. In my word, I say it is the very chiller one. Nothing is there. Okay, we'll understand, and through that one, okay, we will go that. Hope you guys get the idea what exactly we are trying to achieve. Now, I just go ahead because I need to implement the dependence injection. I will first implement the dependence injection mechanism, okay, with the help of the XML configuration. Okay, then I will implement the dependence injection mechanism. Okay, with the different things actually it is internally we have to do. Then I will implement the auto wiring mechanism with the XML configuration only. Dependence injection with the XML configuration, auto wiring with the XML configuration. That's it. So if you understand that, then dependence injection with the Java configuration is very chiller for you guys. If you understand the XML configuration, if you go with a like a dependence injection with the annotation, even that is a chiller one. Nothing is there. Okay, and even the auto wiring mechanism, I just going to, if you understand, then in the annotation cases again it is very simple one for you guys. So don't worry. Okay, we'll explain one by one all the things. So now I just go with the dependency injection mechanism. Yes, what do you guys know about the dependence injection mechanism? Yes, or what do you understood through the discussion about dependence injection mechanism? Yes, no?
No, sir.
Okay, okay.
Ah, sir.
I will explain here. Don't worry. See, in a very simple word, I can say. In a very simple word, I can say, dependency injection mechanism is a way. Dependency injection mechanism is a way to achieve the inversion of control mechanism. It is a way. What I can say simply, it is a way to achieve inversion of control. It is a way to achieve the inversion of a control mechanism simply. Okay, so here, okay, here I just can say it is a way. So Spring implements the dependency injection, okay, with the help of the Spring container, with the help of the Spring container. So whenever I have to achieve the inversion of control, if I have to achieve the inversion of control, I will use the dependency injection mechanism. Okay, so Spring, we can simply say, Spring implement dependency injection by using, okay, either we can use the, okay, use the configurations, okay, that which we guys have observed. Okay, so here if this we have to achieve, it is, if we have to achieve the dependency injection, it can be done by the two ways actually. One, okay, I just say achieved, that is dependency injection, it will be achieved by two ways. Two ways. One, again here I'm saying one, okay, it is the setter injection, okay, and the second one is there what, constructor injection, constructor injection. So dependency injection, even if you have to achieve, okay, so we can use either setter injection or constructor injection, or both together, or both together here. So that means what, data will be injected, data for the object which will be get managed by the container, data for the object which is been managed by the container will be injected through the setter methods, through the setter methods of that class. Okay, so here data will be injected through setter methods, okay, through setter methods I can say, okay, through setter methods, and here data will be injected, data will be injected through constructor, to the constructor. So that is what actually, and both the ways, okay, I will just, okay, right. So now here, before going for actual programming, before going for the actual programming, one more thing actually we guys have to discuss. Sir, you are telling here that container will do the things, container will do the things, container is going to create object. Okay, then what is exactly the container? What is container? What is a container? Okay, and what are the containers available to the, what are the containers available to the here? See, so whenever we are going for whenever we are going to achieve the inversion of control mechanism, here container is responsible. Here container is responsible, okay, to create container is responsible, okay, to create a object of classes. Yes, so here okay, so here what is container exactly? So this the container container will come with will come with spring container will simply come with a spring core. It will come with a spring core, okay, of a spring framework simply. Okay, and what it is doing, it will it will create a object, it will create a object of a classes, it will create object of a classes, okay, then it can it can wire it can wire them together, it can wire them together, okay, then configure them, okay, it can configure them, okay, and manage their and and manage their complete life cycle. Will manage their complete life cycle. It will manage their complete life cycle. Hope you guys are getting what I mean to say here. So Spring container will come with a Spring core, okay, which is the sub framework of the Spring framework. Okay, it will create object of a class. It will create a object of a class. It can wire them together. Though so two objects are there. Okay, if we have to wire them, we have to connect them. Wiring is nothing but the connecting. So we can connect them together, configure them. Okay, we can manage them. Okay, manage their complete life cycle. So means object creation to object deletion. Okay, that is from the object creation, from the object creation to object deletion. All the entire life cycle will be get managed by okay your Spring container. So in a Spring framework, in a Spring framework, in a Spring framework, we have following containers that we can use. One call it as the bean factory. Now the bean factory. So bean factory is one of the container. Bean factory, okay, is one of the container. Bean factory is one of the container, and then second one is there. We have the application context. Okay. We have the bean factory, okay, as a container. Bean factory as a container, okay, and application context also. Application context also as a container only, as a container only, okay. So here we can simply see the features of the Spring framework such as inversion of control, AOP, transaction management, okay, make your application as a unique like that one here. The containers are okay, containers are also unique, make the Spring framework as a unique. So here actually this bean factory and application context. So I can simply say application context, application context, application context is build on factory. In a factory, okay, it is built on the top of a bean factory, I can say it will be get built on the top of a bean factory here. So that means what, that simply means whatever is present in Spring framework, sorry, whatever is present into the bean factory, whatever is present into the bean factory, that is available to the, that is available to the application context. Okay, so it will add more functionalities. Okay, here it will add, it will add more functionalities. I just say more functionalities than, okay, bean factory. Okay, for example, okay, for example, if you want to uh, uh, see that what are the things you, it will be available, such as, okay, such as internationalization. Internationalization, that means what? Okay, the application which is been developed, the application which is been developed with a multiple languages. Okay, if we have to achieve that one, then we can just use this one. Okay, otherwise if you talk about the Spring Bean factory, okay, container, okay, this actually the simplest container provided by the, okay, provided for the support of the dependency injection. Okay, so bean factory and related interfaces. For example, we have some initializing bean, actually disposal bean, bean factory aware. Okay, some interfaces are there. Okay, so that are available here into the package, and basically that package is nothing but the ORG Spring Framework Beans Factory. Okay, that is what the package all are available with that one. Okay, but if you go with the Spring application context container, so this will add some enterprise specific functionalities. Okay, related with the textual messages. Okay, related with the properties file. Okay, related to the published application events. Okay, so even we have some event listener. So your application level things are available with the application context, and hence we are going to use the application context as a Spring container. Okay, in our development, in our development. Hope you guys are getting. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. Now programmatically, actually, I have to implement IOC through the dependency injection mechanism. How we can do that? Let's go here and we'll discuss that. So I will just simply write here steps to implement. That is dependency injection. Okay, I have to implement, I have to implement the dependency injection here. Okay, in this example here, I will use, I will use, I will use, okay, setter method, setter injection, setter injection, okay, and XML configuration. See what I'm getting here? I will use, here I will use setter injection and XML configuration. Okay, with the application context. Context. Okay, application context as a container, as a Spring container, we can say. So it will use setter injection, XML configuration with the application context. So if we want to understand this one, now here we have to just write like these are some classes. Okay, these are some classes, and which dependency we guys have to manage. Okay, these are the classes which dependency we guys have to manage here. Okay, so we are going to achieve the loosely coupled coupling only. So same thing, okay, this loosely coupled thing I want to manage, loosely coupled thing I want to manage. So how, without creating these objects, I am not going to create object of employee, I am not programmatically going to create object of address. Okay, I will create these two classes. Okay, I will create these two classes, but object of these two classes will be managed by the container, and that I want to implement over here. That I want to implement over here. So I can simply say here, okay, here, here, okay, here we are not going to create a object of employee class, okay, and address class, okay. We can simply say the address class explicitly. Container will create a container will create a container will create objects, and we will use it. We will use that object in a code. We will use that object in a code. So to achieve this one, okay, step one, okay, I can simply say one, create classes which objects must be managed by container. Here what I'm going to do, okay, here what I'm going to do, here simply I want to create object of a, I want to create object of a employee and a address. So here, okay, here employee class, okay, we'll create only object of employee first, okay, without injecting that, without that dependency. Normally I will create simple employee, then object of that one we will manage, then later we'll create the address, okay, and it will inject that, and then we'll set the value. We'll do that one step by step. So we'll create here, we will create a, we will write a, okay, employee and address class as discussed in loose coupling. Okay, this is what the step one might. So assume like okay, we have created these two classes, employee class and address class. Okay, now we can just go to the step, okay, I just say two. If objects are created, now how the container will understand that, okay, these are the objects should be get managed by, okay, these are the objects should be get managed by the container. So that is what the step two. But before that, here actually we should write a, we should write a, setter methods, setter methods setter methods in these classes, why? Because we are using the setter injection, because we are using the setter injection to implement this one, setter injection to implement this one, and that is the reason actually, that is the reason, okay, I'm doing, okay, I uh just specifying this one, that I will create the employee class, address class, and write the getter, write the setters, basic things, and that will be done. Private data members, public getter setters, okay, and that's it. Okay, now writing the step two, I have to go to the step two, where I just have to, create, I just have to configure that one. I have to configure that one, that classes inside the XML configuration file, inside the XML configuration file. Okay, so for that purpose here, okay, XML configuration file, okay, and configure as a bean, as a bean in it, okay, in it. So we are going to create one XML configuration file, and in that configuration file, we have to manage or we have to configure this class as a bin. We have to configure this one class as a bin, and configuring this class as a bin is very chiller one. Nothing is there. You can just understand here how we can do that. Here you can simply write this one. It is the other things we can just put here. Okay, but bin, in that bin, okay, there must be the id is equals to, you can give here, okay, here object name, here object name here. So container is going to create object of a class. So if container have created object, on by which name it will be get used into the entire program or entire the code or entire the application. So here this is the object name. This is the object name. On that object name, okay, it will be get understand, okay, this is actually object name. Then we have the second attribute for this one. We have the second attribute for this one, okay, that is what the class, okay, is equals to double quotation. Here this must be fully qualified. This must be fully qualified class name. Okay, this must be fully qualified class name. Means what? Fully qualified means what? With the entire path, entire project, that we say package name. So entire package name with your class name, you can just simply write over here. So that these are the two important things. These are the two important things necessary over here while creating the bin or while declaring the bin. Now as we created this bin, okay, we can just close this. So we should have the opening bin and a slash closing bin like this. Okay, so if you return as a bin inside the XML configuration file, so through this one, Spring container will understand that I have to create object of this class, okay, and we will refer that by this one name. Okay, as this one is done. Now, if this object is get created, then you have to set some value to that object. We have to set some value to that object. So how that object value we are going to provide? So here actually inside that bin we have the property. We have the property. Okay, we have the name is equal to exactly property name. Property name. Okay, and here we can just put a value, okay, is equals to, and we can put the value, okay, like this one. So this is exactly we can just put here, okay, and we can just close this property. Just close this property like this one. Okay, so here property name, as many properties you have, as many properties you have, okay, you can just put over here, like here property name 1, okay, here property name 2, here property name 3, and so on. Okay, here value we can just write the value, whatever the value 1. Okay, here we can just put the value 2. Okay, we do have the value 3, okay, and so on, and it will work fine. Okay, as many, if we can write one, we can create many object of that class. So for example, see, same exactly copying, and here I want to create object of a, I want to create object of a employee. So I just will give the name as a emp. Okay, you can give any, I just give an emp, and here we can just put a qualified name, com dot icons dot, okay, name of the class as a assume employee, any can be there. Okay, so here, okay, and then what are the property name? We have the emp id, okay, we have the emp name, okay, then we have the, okay, here we have the salary. These are the properties, sorry, these are the property data member of employee class. And what is the value? So I can just name, okay, employee id, that is the 101. Okay, what will be the value? I can simply say the, okay, jam. Okay, what is the, okay, salary? I just write the 75. Okay, so here actually I am going to provide some default value. So bin id is equal to emp, bin id is equal to emp. Okay, here class is the nothing but the fully qualified name of the class, fully qualified name of the class, and here we have the few properties, and we have given this value. So as we have written like this one, object of this class, assume this class employee without a department. Without a department, I'm going to do that one later. But here, assume like employee class with employee ID, name and a salary without the department, and I'm going to inject the value. So if I put it this one, if I put it this one, okay, object of this employee class will be created by the container. Container will understand through this one, okay, bin through this tag, okay, location, and as object is get successfully created, okay, it will give the name of that object as a emp. Okay, now on that emp object, it is going to call the setter methods, because I have used here the property, and that property simply means that, okay, I have to call the setter methods of employee, and will set the value to as a 101, value as jam, and a value here value as a 75. So my object is now ready, because it created object, set value, call the individual methods and set the values, and now your object is ready. Your object is ready. It is available in the runtime. It is available in the runtime. Now I have to just use this object. So how I can use this object? Again, it is very chiller one. That is what the step 3. Hope you guys understood the step 2.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Super. Now just I want to go to the step 3. Okay. It is again the, okay. Assume this is I just created. Now there is the step 3, and in the step 3, okay, create application context, okay, by reading configuration file, XML configuration file, okay, get object, get bin method, use it, that is what the very chiller thing actually we guys have to do here, okay, while using this one. Okay, we guys have to do it while using this one. So very simply, like I just want to do this one, like if I have to create this, so how we are going to do this one? So simply we have to create the application context object. Okay, we have to create the application context object. After creating the application context, okay, we can just get bin, and after getting the bin, okay, we can perform our operation. We can, whatever, like whatever you guys want to do with that object, we can just do this one. Okay, so here for that one, okay, we can just simply use the step that. So here I'm just writing application context, okay, so here actually I'm writing application context, application context, okay, here I just say context is equals to, okay, is equals to, I can simply say new XML, uh, what is the implemented class, because application context is an interface, here. Okay, so I just forgot that. No, just wait. Web, here we can simply go here. Okay, and we are just how to write very simply. application context is equals to application context is equals to, here we can use new. Okay, and the name of implemented class is class path. Just try to remember this, class path XML application context, class path XML, class path XML. Okay, I can simply say application context, application context. And in that one, okay, we have to give the name of the, here just give XML configuration file, XML configuration, I just you give the file name. Okay, so here what I did here, application context is equal to new class path XML application context, class path XML application context here. So I just given like this one, class path XML application context. And by giving this one, what it does, it will read this file. Application context will read that file. While reading that file, it will internally parse, internally parse the content present there. Okay, and simply read that file content. By reading that file content, it will understand that okay, these are some bean classes, because this bean class I have put it inside the XML file only. So they will understand okay, this is the bean class. Okay, and by using okay, as bean class is founder, it will create object of that class. So as object is created, you know that given the name of the object, so I can just write here employee, employee is equals to context dot we can write a get bin. Okay, and here we can just specify the bin name, we can just specify the bin name, actually bin name. Okay, bin name, okay, which is given here the id given in bin XML file. Okay, bin XML file. So for example, I just write here, okay, I just write here, okay, for example, control V, employee context get bin. Okay, I have given the name as a, here you can see EMP. So I just use this EMP. I will use this. Okay, here simply EMP. Okay, semicolon. Okay, but it we have to convert. So I just write this one into the employee. We have to convert that into the employee. So it is been get okay employee. And now if you want to display that, okay, system.out.println, then you can display that employee. You can just display that employee. So this is easiest way. This is the easiest way to create the application context and get the object which is being managed by the container. Yes? Getting, guys? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Super. So this is actually the very basic related to this one. Okay, whenever we are going for Spring core programming, okay, these are the things. And okay, how to inject that address, see, I will again tell you that one. Okay, but before that one will basically will understand, otherwise I observe that student usually get confused there, okay, in between that one. So I will show you separately, and then we can just create it. Okay, and then we can just put over there. Okay, for that understanding, do I have any Spring core? Mhm. Okay, no doubt you guys have to add some Spring core dependencies. Actually, even I will show that one too. Okay, and if you are creating the Maven project, then that is very easy for you guys. There is nothing there. Okay, so You can just simply, I do have, okay, super. Yeah. So, hope you guys understood up to the things which I have discussed.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I just, mm, okay, here. Can you see the screen? Yes. What you guys are able to see? Is it the eclipse?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. So here, see, I do have the very simple demo Spring core. Okay, consider, don't worry about it is Maven or the simple one. Just if you use the Maven, jar file will be automatically downloaded. If it is the normal, okay, manually we as a programmer, we have to add that one. That's it. Otherwise, no difference. Here, just I am going to show you one employee. Okay, here I'm just going to show you employee. And in that one, okay, there will be a, okay, I will just, oh, okay, they have managed the dependency here. I just go here. Mm, okay, what I will do, I will create my separate class in front of you only, and then we can just do it. Here I'm just simply creating one class. Okay, okay, new class. That will be a, okay, just sake of understanding, I will make it as a employee one because employee is already there. So I just make it as a employee one. Okay, come fast. Okay, com Bhavna beans. Okay, it is the package name actually here. Don't worry about the package. I just close this one and will show here because it is taking the time. Okay, this is the employee simple class. Consider this. Don't worry about this address. Don't worry about this address. Okay, or the get address or the set address or anything. Okay, just okay, this is what the first step. Create the class, okay, by using this one, or if even if you want, I can put this one into the comment, okay, so that you can get. So this one address, okay, I do have the some other methods. If I want to put that, okay, I have put it. Okay, then two string method, getter, setter methods and all. Okay, this is what I have put it over here. Now there is a second step. What is that? We have to go into the configuration file. So here assume here is my bean configuration file, and in a configuration file, okay, I can just show you this. Okay, here you can get the above content here. Okay, you can get this above content beans because we are putting this one inside the beans, so that XML schemas and are according to the jar file you guys have added. Okay, you can get here into the net itself. Okay, all these things. Now it will be a nearly common to everywhere, but just what is the change, you can just observe here. This is what the bin first bin or the second bin, okay, or I can simply say the third bin and so on. So like this one we have given, okay, because I have demonstrated it multiple times. So it is. So assume here, okay, I have this one bin employee, okay, or I will just mm, I just create this, I just copy this one, okay, and here pasting here, control V. I will give the name to this one as a EMP. Okay, hope there is no any with a EMP. Okay, address employee. Okay, so no one is there as a EMP. I just put it. Okay, I given the name. Okay, same. I don't need this because I have not discussed yet this part. Okay, I have not discussed this part yet. So I just remove this one. Okay, and it is been closed like this. So very simply I have created the bin. Hope you guys are able to see this. So here, okay, I do have bin created exactly same, property name, employee ID, name and salary. Okay, it is been little change. Okay, AID, name and salary, MP name is not there. Okay, just understand. So this is what the step 2. I want this object must be get managed by the container. So I just put it into the configuration file as a bin. And now there is the third, okay, whenever I am going to use this, okay, there will be the test employee here. Okay, inside the test employee, I have to create the application context object. And by using the get bin, I can read that object. Okay, I can use that object inside the code. So you can just simply see this here. Okay, I am going to create a object of application context. Okay, you can simply observe here application context context AC or context is equals to new class path XML application context, class path XML application context, and here complete path of that my configuration file I have given, my bin configuration XML file like this one. Okay, I think this package is okay. I just import this package org spring framework context like that one, there it is there. So just create the application context. It is alternative configurable application context is also there, configurable application context. These are the two even we can use. So I am going to use the application context AC X class path XML application context, and there I have given the name of a XML file. Okay, so here, okay, this XML file name I just have given. Okay, now I want to get the object of employee. So here I given the name as a EMP. I just given the name as a EMP, employee EMP. Okay, get bin like this one. Okay, I don't want address, so I will not getting the address. Okay, I will try to display this one. Okay, this one is also get displayed. Okay, why it is showing this? Close. It is not available. Here AC dot for the configurable application context. I just try to put this one into the comment. Okay, because the basic things I want to discuss with you. Okay, so you can observe only 3 lines which I have put it there. Okay, exactly 3 lines: create application context, get bin and display. Okay, so display that, but it is getting with the name of that ID. Okay, so and it is converted and try to display that. You can just, and here I just go here into the configuration and give make the changes like here. Okay, name will be 1001. I will give the name as Akash. Okay, uh, okay, AKASH. Okay, and here I just make it as a 80, so that I want this one data should be get. So I just change this. I saved. Okay, don't take more time. Okay, because if you made the changes, it will again going for the reloading. Okay, then I just, okay, here we have not made any changes, so nothing is there into the employee class. Here configuration file will be look like this. It has been saved already, and into the test employee. Okay, we are trying to do this. Okay, and why it is giving the error? I just saved this. Okay, no error, only 3 lines. Try to understand. Just I'm running this one, right click, run as Java application, and we'll wait to check like is it displaying. Only 3 files we added, nothing else. Super. So internally so many things have been done. Okay, don't worry about that. But here employee ID 101, name Akash, and the salary 80 is been came. Okay, and the department we have not added, so it is showing the null value. So this is nothing but the inversion of control. Okay, where runtime is creating the object and we are not creating object, we are just using into our code. Hope you guys understood this.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any question, any doubt?
No, sir.
Everyone,
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
super, super, super. So if you understand this basic, if you understand this basic, then again the next part is very simple for you guys. Nothing is there. Okay. As the basic understanding is get done, remaining part is simple for you guys. You can easily do that. Can you guys first implement this? Okay, then we can go ahead with the next topics.